Hello, I'm Atujime and you're watching HornbillTV's Prime at 9, now news in details. India reported its third case of monkeypox on Friday when a 35-year-old man who returned to Malappuram from UAE on July 6 was found to be infected. The Kerala Health Minister said that he was admitted with fever at Manjeri Medical College Hospital on July 3rd, and from July 15 he began showing symptoms. His family and close contacts are under observation, Health Minister Veena George said. George's office added that with this, 3 people have been confirmed with monkeypox in the state. The health condition remains satisfactory. The second case of monkeypox was reported from Kannur district of Kerala on July 18, in which there was a history of contact with a case of disease in UAE. On July 14, a man from the state's Kollam district who also returned from the UAE had tested positive for the infection. The Union Health Ministry on Monday ordered strict screening of all international passengers arriving at airports and ports to minimize the threat of importation of monkeypox after the country reported its second case of the virus infection. The Sri Lankan army has taken over the presidential secretariat in Colombo. Forensic and crime scene officers are currently present at the secretariat. It was reported that huge security was deployed outside Gal Face. Military armored vehicles were also deployed near the president's house. Bharatiya Janata Party Nagaland unit today celebrated the victory of the National Democratic Alliance's candidate and the first tribal president Droupadi Murmu at Machaki in Kohima. Murmu is said to become the first tribal president of India and the second woman president in the country. Speaking at the program, State's BJP President and Minister Temjin Imna Along called the victory as the red letter days for the tribal people and a day to remember. Along also said that the BJP party and people of Nagaland should be proud for electing Murmu as the 15th president of India 2022. It is a virtuous for the tribal states as well for the nation, he added. Along said, Modi's leadership has shown an inclusive leadership in the country with good initiatives and development. He called upon the party workers to work hard and be committed to the national goals towards nation development.
Conscientious decisions towards its countrymen. J.P. Nadda ji, our national president, has asserted his writ to be the president of the world's largest political party and picking up for the first time in the history of independent India, more than 70 years, now 75th year celebration, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we are celebrating this year. What more befitting than to be a tribal today and see women empowerment in its glorious peak of having the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces.
Also speaking at the program, Minister V. Kashiho Sangtam said that Nagaland being a 100% tribal state and now with the President of India from tribal is a proud moment for the tribal people. He also congratulated the NDA for the victorious moment. A brief biography of Murmu was delivered by Tsachola Rothrong, State Mahila Morcha Vice President.
Very good example for Naga people. Because now she was the junior assistant in the education, but I think she feels satisfied with being the junior assistant in one department. Most probably she had seen the downfall of the tribal students and tribal children in Odisha. It's better to serve my people, teaching the students, bring up the students a very proper educated way of working. She should switch over to the better place. She has done a lot of commendable job teaching the students. Okay, somebody giving tuition, not giving food. Someone like that, the entire community, they might have felt very good about activities. So now, after she saw all the activities, she switched over on mind.
Droupadi Murmu was born in the year 1958 on June 20th. Her place of birth was Uparbetta village, Kusumi block, Mayurbhanj district, Odisha. Her education was a graduate from Ramdevi Women's College, Utkal University, Bhubaneswar. And her profession before entering politics was as a junior assistant in Irrigation and Power Department, Government of Odisha, from 1979 to 1983. And then she became honorary assistant teacher of Sri Aurobindo Integral Education and Research Center, Rairangur, from 1994 to 1997. And after that, she was a member of many committees. During the year 2000 to 2001, she was a member of the House Committee on Railways.
The Indian Engineers Federation Northeastern Region INDEF along with the Federation of Nagaland State Engineering Service Associations held its annual council meeting today at Hotel Jaffu in Kohima. Speaking at the group's 26th midterm annual meeting, Minister for Rural Development Matsupu Jamir encouraged the engineers to be accountable for those who are self-employed and equally contribute to nation-building process in their own capacities and making the nation move ahead, keeping pace with all the developed nation.
Learned that the INDEF is an apex body of conglomeration of engineers which contributes nearly 2 lakh employees to the state's central and private sector services. An impressive number. Nonetheless, we should also account for those who are self-employed engineers and equally contributing to nation-building processes in their own capacities that make our great nation move ahead and keep pace with all the developed nations. You, my dear engineers, should know that through your selfless and brilliant minds, our country is forging ahead of the so-called developed nations technologically. Our great nation acknowledges your contribution.
President of the INDEF, NER Pura Tube, said engineering services across the country are lagging far behind the civil services in respect of status, pay structure and career progression. And therefore, INDEF is trying for achieving the 3 points of national demand of heading and manning technical departments by technical personnel, removal of disparity in career values of engineers vis-a-vis administrative services, and constitution of an engineering commission.
Of Northeastern Region Engineering Federation meet. In fact, we were interested to host this event during 2021. Unfortunately, due to pandemic and various restriction protocol, and our council meeting 2021 could not be held. Today, with God's grace and blessing, we're all gathered here at Kohima to mark this midterm council and annual council meeting 2022. Through this conference, I would like to request all the delegates to engage in an open and constructive discussion about our federations and other agendas which will be laid in our business sessions.
The bodies of 4 youth from Assam who had gone missing since July 19 was recovered from Zero in Arunachal Pradesh on Friday. According to reports, all 4 were killed in an accident. They all belonged to different motorcycle riding clubs and were travelling in a Volkswagen car for Nagaon town of Assam to Tawang of Arunachal Pradesh, reportedly. They had gone on a trip when their vehicle met with the accident. The bodies were recovered at a depth of 200 feet, reports stated. The deceased have been identified as Nayan Pasumantari, Bidanta Barmela from Nagaon district in Assam and Hirak Boro of Sunapur and Sanjeev Das of Tezpur. According to DC Pomdila, the intense fog around 0 point could have been the reason for the mishap. According to reports, DC Pomdila, the intense fog around 0 point could have been the reason for the mishap. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation on Friday directed airlines to not stop passengers from boarding their flight based on a disability or reduced mobility. Announcing the change in the regulations in a statement, DGCA said airlines shall not refuse carriage of any person on the basis of disability or reduced mobility. However, in case an airline perceives that the health of such a passenger may deteriorate in flight, the said passenger will have to be examined by a doctor in person, who shall, in his or her opinion, categorically state the medical condition and whether the passenger is fit to fly or not. After obtaining the medical opinion, the airline shall take an appropriate decision on the carriage of such passengers. In case of refusal of carriage by the airline, it shall inform the passenger in writing with the reason therein immediately. The change in rules comes after Indigo airline officials in May barred a specially able child from boarding the plane from Ranchi, provoking outrage on and off social media. African swine fever has been reported from 2 farms at Manathavadi in Kerala's Wayanad district, officials said on Friday. The disease was confirmed among pigs from 2 farms in the district after the samples were tested at the National Institute of High Security Animal Diseases in Bhopal. An official from the Animal Husbandry Department said that the samples were sent for testing after pigs at one of the farms died en masse and test results has confirmed the infection. Directions have been issued to cull 300 pigs of the second farm, the official said. The department said steps are being taken to prevent the disease from being spread. The state had earlier this month tightened biosecurity measures following an alert from the center that African swine fever has been reported in Bihar and a few northeastern states. African swine fever is a highly contagious and fatal viral disease affecting domestic pigs. The Central Board of Secondary Education (CBSE) on Friday announced the results of Class 10 and 12 board exams. The overall pass percentage in CBSE Class 10 results is 94.40%, while Class 12 result pass percentage stands at 92.71%. In both the results, girls outperformed boys. In Class 10, girls outperformed boys by 1.14% and 94.54% in Class 12. The overall pass percentage in Class 12 was 99.37% in 2021 as compared to 92.71% this year. In Class 10 exam result, Trivandrum region students have recorded the best pass percentage with 99.68% in Class 10-2, followed by Bengaluru with 99.22%, Chennai with 98.97%, Ajmer with 98.14% and Patna with 97.65%. Guwahati is at the bottom of the table with 82.23%. As per reports, two girls from Uttar Pradesh, Yuvakshi Vij and Tanya Singh, have topped CBSE 12th results 2022 and scored unbelievably perfect marks. A one-day Northeast Food Processors Meet for Technology Upgrade Bankers and Investors was held today at the Hotel The Oriental Grand in Kohima. YK Kheto Sema, Principal Secretary and Agriculture Production Commissioner, spoke at the program. He said Nagaland is the only state in India formed out of a political agreement, and even after statehood, there was no time to invest in economic development, which resulted in lagging behind other mainland states, especially in food processing. There are only 8 food processing units in Dimapur and 1 in Kohima.
We would like to dedicate for the women particularly. So that is coming up, and which will be completed within this year in Agri Expo. So what we are trying to do is we would like all our product organic to reach to Dimapur, and not only to send out but to attack Dimapur syndicate, and our people be India, buy India, be Nagas, buy Nagas, and we will discourage a lot of goods that is coming from the other countries. So these are a lot of plan that is going, and Agri and Allied, I think whatever I have not covered, the other Mr. Eliton, who is one of the most senior and efficient officer of horticulture department, he will also cover something on the left.
The Agriculture Production Commissioner also urged bankers and NABARD to not shy away but to come forward. He called upon the banks and the NABARD to create awareness among young entrepreneurs. Further, speaking on the scope of the food processing sector in the state, the Director of Horticulture informed that there is plenty of raw materials such as pineapple, kiwi fruit, passion fruit, naga mircha and large cardamoms suitable for food processing industries. Nagaland Chief Secretary J. Alam conducted a review with the Departments of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, Land Resources and Soil and Water Conservation on July 22nd at the Civil Secretariat in Kohima. During the meeting, he urged the department to make sure that the funds are being properly utilized, that the schemes reaches eligible beneficiaries, and that the various activities carried out should reflect in the results. On being asked if there is improvement in the fish production over the years, the Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources pointed out that unless commercial fish farming is tried, production will be low. Alam has advised identifying areas of common fish farming, maintaining that what is lacking in the system is a poor quality of data. He said that GIS should be used for comprehensive data. Various departments raised various issues. Among others, the Department of Land Resources highlighted its vision and mission. The Department of Soil and Water Conservation delivered a detailed presentation of the aims and objectives and various schemes. Manipur Pradesh celebrated the historic win of the National Democratic Alliance candidate Droupadi Murmu in the president polls. The president-elect Murmu emerged victorious by garnering massive votes in the 15th presidential election. As party from across the country celebrates the victory of Murmu, Manipur PJP will be celebrating 4 days straight. In today's program, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh led the victory march from Western Kangla Gate in Imphal. All MLAs of PJP, JDU and NPP participated in the victory march. Chief Minister N. Biren Singh has asserted that it is a memorable achievement of the tribal communities in the country. As such, the state is preparing in big way, particularly from tribal communities residing in the state, to celebrate in grand way. World Health Organization has reconvened the Monkeypox Emergency Committee to assess the public health implications of the evolving multi-country outbreak. This comes as global cases pass 14,000, with 6 countries reporting the first cases last week. The committee first met last month but decided against declaring it a public health emergency of international concern. On Thursday, World Health Organization Chief Tedros Adhanom acknowledged his acute awareness that any decision regarding the possible determination involves the consideration of many factors with the ultimate goal of protecting public health. That's all we have for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.